Well, while most of Canada is focused on COVID-19, a mysterious brain disease has surfaced in parts of New Brunswick. So far, 47 cases have been identified, 6 of them being fatal. An investigation is underway, but what have we learned so far? Joining us this morning is the neurologist who's leading the New Brunswick research team, Dr. Ali Marrero. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Some people might just be hearing about this for the first time. What do we know about the symptoms of this disease?
The symptoms of this disease initially referred to something that looks like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So it's a very rare condition called prion disease, where people develop a neurodegenerative disorder that ends up in affecting many systems, including cognitive, so provoking dementia, but also other signs and symptoms. In our case, the patients are a little bit different. First of all, they are younger, or at least they are of any age, from 18 to 86. They do develop initially behavioral changes that could be non-specific. That includes sleep disorders, either mostly insomnia or not sleeping well or sleeping too much, and also problems with memory, coordination, orientation. Then they develop sometimes hallucinations, mostly visual hallucinations, as well as occasionally auditory and tactile hallucinations, as well as muscle atrophy, trouble with coordination, and involuntary movements we call myoclonus, which is like muscle jerks that cannot be controlled. They usually appear initially during the nighttime, and they evolve towards being very frequent and very prevalent in the few patients that we have seen up to the end. Unfortunately, the myoclonus persists right until the end stages. Some patients also develop at some point very severe ataxia, trouble with balance, walking, they fall. So that's sometimes the reason why they are referred to us in evaluation.
Right.
They also develop sometimes frightening nightmares and some of those hallucinations for which they initially keep an insight become part of their reality. So they react to them, and as you can imagine, that prompts more aggressivity. Yes?
You've set up a clinic now specifically to study this. You've been trying to pinpoint a source. What possibilities have you narrowed this list down to? Because people are afraid.
Yes, we have been, first of all, we identified a first single case in 2015. And at the time, obviously, an isolated case doesn't make a syndrome. And after that, in 2018, we have seen increasing numbers of cases referred. And now, as we have this clinic, we have many more referrals. Our extensive investigation in collaboration with the National CJD surveillance systems and other experts in the country in environmental health, epidemiology, toxicology, animal health, show that this is environmentally acquired, or at least an acquired condition. It is not a genetically linked condition. Patients seem to be clustered around some areas, not everywhere. So our leading hypothesis is a neurotoxin acquired in the environment that has not been around all the time or not forever, because this is a recent issue. This condition is sprouting since 2018. Many areas of those in those pathways are being investigated, including, for instance, cyanobacteria, toxic forms of amino acids, other environmental toxins, and maybe rare infections. But we keep our mind open to possibilities at this time, as we don't have yet common causality identified.
Wow. So challenging, because you're trying to sort of diagnose but research at the same time. The cases so far, we've mentioned there's 47. They've been found in clusters, both in Moncton and the Acadian Peninsula. You've now expanded your research to see if this disease maybe exists in other provinces or countries. What are some of the theories around how it spreads? Because people hear that it can be acquired, they hear environmental possibilities, and they're worried about where they might catch it.
Absolutely. So, right, that's the reason why our public health in New Brunswick has created a referral system so that we can capture the number of cases that we actually have in the whole province, but also we have been in communication with neighboring jurisdictions and other provinces in order to raise awareness about the characteristics of our patients and also the test results that we obtain, so that if they see similar patients, we can probably identify also common factors in those areas. We're talking about particularly neighboring Quebec, Nova Scotia, PEI, for instance, and as well as the state of Maine in the US. But so far, we have started the investigation here, and we're trying to gather the whole picture of what is happening in New Brunswick with more exact locations and exact number of cases that we might have.
Dr. Morero, I want to thank you for coming on Your Morning. It is a fascinating story and one that we haven't had a chance to focus on because we've been so focused on COVID-19. Thank you so much for your research and your time this morning.
Thanks for your interest in our patients. This is a compelling disease. This is hard to see for the families, for the patients, for the doctors. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.